think that we're still waiting on a couple more people to join us. I'm very excited. This is a product that I've been working with for quite a while now behind the chair, you guys, and I'm absolutely completely in love with the crown. I think it is a remarkable and revolutionary product, especially because it's taken a lot of the guesswork out of whether a system will work or not. So just having a little bit more guarantee, a little bit more reassurance, and just having trust in what I'm doing makes all the difference in the world to me. I absolutely love that. So it's going to be good. During the webinar, we are going to do a bit of theory, a bit of hands-on, and a live Q&A at the end. I want to go through absolutely all the products that we have with you guys, get you kind of familiar with what you're going to see when you're working with the product, what you're going to see when you're using the flat iron, get you kind of familiar with what we have going on with it. And then, like I said, at the very end, we'll do Q&A. So if you guys do have questions, comments, or concerns, please write them down in your notes. So that way I can make sure I get them, because sometimes if I get interrupted too quickly, I have the attention span of a ferret and I forget where I'm going, and then I end up circling an airport for about 45 minutes and it's not good. So it's gonna be great. So, all right, Irina, Crystal, Green, Tracy. Perfect. Okay, so my name is Jessie Marriott. I'm a hairstylist in Red Deer, Alberta. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the Western educator for the Crown. I also have the pleasure of being an educator for another brand through ESP and Global One. And it's worked out really well that the two brands that I do represent were coincided so beautifully together. That makes me very happy, because when going into a new brand and starting to work with a new brand, you always want to make sure that you're putting your faith and your trust in the right place. And when I first came across the crown, I was so excited because this was brought to me and represented and created by a man who is a genius of the name Mike Sabag. And Mike is the creator of two global brands that we know and love, being Serena Key and Moroccan. So Mike Sabag has already revolutionized our hair industry by bringing us products that we've never seen before, and using them in ways that we never knew, especially, you know, manipulating the molecules of oil with Moroccan oil, and then with Serena Keys, the African shea extract, has been absolutely remarkable. I absolutely love Serena Keys. It's one of my favorite products. The lotion and the oil itself, I cannot get enough of. I adore it. So when looking into smoothing systems, he realized that nothing had changed in the smoothing system industry for many, many, many years. It was all the same, and one of the key components was, of course, very harsh chemicals and ingredients, which is why in Canada, we don't see a lot of smoothing systems on the market. There was, of course, one that we really did know about, most notable, that we could no longer get in Canada anymore because of the harshness of the chemical ingredients. And it was funny because that one that shall not be named, you guys, if I talked about different products, it's not me speaking ill about other products, it's me educating you differences of other products, okay? I'm not bad-mouthing anybody. There's love and room in the sandbox for everyone. I'm just telling you the differences between what we've used and what we have now, okay? So with the other product that was currently available, it did get banned in Canada because of the harshness of the chemicals. And it was funny because I used to still smuggle it across the border because I liked it. I'm like, whatever, the chemical won't be so bad. And then I remember the last time that I used said smoothing treatment, it took me down for about 5 days with my throat. I just couldn't handle that much environmental interference anymore. And my clients were reacting from the environmental interference. Like when I was doing the systems at the time, you know, their eyes would burn or their throat would burn and they feel like there was something kind of right here. And I'm like, this is a problem. We can't have ingredients like this anymore. We can't have something like that. And especially because clients have become really, really cautious about what you're putting into environmentally. That's why we have a tendency to go towards a lot more natural ingredients when it comes to our coloring systems as well. People want to know what's out there. They're becoming a lot more conscious about the chemicals of their environment and the chemicals that are going onto their bodies and their hair and their scalp and everything. So the Crown came out and offered us something completely different, because the Crown is completely free of harsh chemicals. We are formaldehyde free, okay? We are completely free of harsh chemicals. What we have instead is 5 smart molecules, which we call the AcroCore technology of our 5 smart molecules. Our smart molecules are things that are found in nature, things that are found in our own skin, and things that are found in luxury hair care, skincare, and nutrition all around the world. Those 5 smart molecules are ceramides, acai, keratin, wheat germ, and one of my favorite ones to know about is mustard oil. And mustard oil is one of my favorite ones because one of the things that mustard oil does is actually reduces inflammation and irritation on the scalp. And that to me is so important because there we have a brand that is talking about not only nourishing the hair, restoring the health of the hair, turning back time on the hair, but we're also going to put something in there that is protection for the scalp as well. Because if we have healthy scalp, we have healthy hair. And I adore that. The one thing too that really set this aside for me on the market opposed to other brands in the market, we are not one bottle fits all. With everything that I was seeing on the market, there wasn't separate systems for different needs. It was like, here's your one bottle, here's your one flat iron setting, go for it, run, have fun. But I'm like, behind the chair, there's a lot of different things behind the chair that we run into that we need to customize things for. And there wasn't something for that. We know the difference too when we're coloring between a 10 ball and a 40 ball. So if I was to hand somebody color and hand them 40 ball and be like, this bottle will do everything for everyone. Would that be accurate? No. And it needs to be the same thing with smoothing systems. We need to have customization to each client's individual needs. So within our family, we have 4 different systems, okay? Our system 0, which I'll lift up here. Fabulous System 0 is designed for virgin hair. Never been treated, never been color treated, never been processed. She is that pristine blank canvas, okay? We've got system number 1, which is for color treated hair, okay? But then we also have system 1 Forte. So 1 Forte is designed not only for color treated hair, but for your little bit more coarse resistant color treated hair or coarse resistant hair in general. All right, so we've got system 0 for virgin, system 1 for color treated hair, system 1 Forte for coarse chemically treated hair. But then we have the one that I feel that I've been using the most behind the chair because within the North American market, we are blondes, baby. And that is system number 2. And system number 2 is designed for damaged, pre-lightened hair. And again, I'll say that one more time, damaged, pre-lightened hair. This is a system that will actually reverse chemical damage. This is a system that will help reverse thermal damage. Will it bring it back to what it originally was if you fried it to the point where it's the texture of like cotton? Absolutely not. But this is going to reverse the effects of chemical damage. All right, this is going to leave the hair healthier, it's going to leave the hair smoother, and it's going to leave the hair in better integrity. And again, having formulas that are specifically designed for what we see behind the chair is extremely important to me. Because if I'm one bottle fits all, a 1 bottle for a virgin hair and a 1 bottle for chemical treated hair, that is not the same thing. We have to have customization to this. There needs to be different levels to this. This is an amino acid based formula. It has a pH of 1.5. And when we talk about our AcroPore technology, okay? AcroPore technology means we force the molecules to become acrobats. The molecules are only going to live where they need to live. They will not live in areas that it does not need it. So one big point of difference with the crown too is, you guys, there is no buildup. There's no buildup whatsoever. That has been one of the funniest things when talking to a lot of my clients, because I actually deal with a lot of fine-haired clients. And my fine-haired clients are like, I don't want to do a smoothing system. My hair will be heavy. We are not here to take the life of the hair. We are here to maintain the body in the hair. Okay? You don't lose natural movement. You don't lose natural body to the hair. This will not leave buildup. Because with the AcroPore technology of our 5 smart molecules, if my hand is the hair strand, okay, and more product is needed or on the ends of the hair as opposed to the roots of the hair, the molecules will not live there. The molecules will naturally migrate themselves down to where they need to be. Or when you rinse the hair, it is naturally going to rinse away from the areas that it doesn't need. All right, this is not going to build up on the hair. With other systems on the market, what they do is they completely encompass around the cuticle and cortex itself, sealing it down and creating like a coating over top of it. With our AcroPore technology and our 5 smart molecules, our molecules only live where they need to go, and then they will remove themselves from there. That being said, you will not end up with weight. You will not end up with buildup. You will not end up with dead hair. Your hair will have natural flow to it. It will have natural movement to it. It will have body. And I really do push the limits with this, especially behind the chair. I really wanted to see what I could do with this. And I did this system on one of my clients, and this mama, she is fabulous. She's incredible. She's got 6 hairs on her head and they hate each other. And she was so excited because she still had bounce to her hair. She still had lift to her hair. Her hair wasn't flat and stuck to her scalp. That is one of the biggest misconceptions with the smoothing system. This will not weigh your hair down. You're going to get long-lasting results out of this system. You are going to get results that are going to last up to 6 months. Now, the one thing with this system too that I absolutely adore is this is a time-release system. This is not a permanent straightening. So you will not get that situation going on where her roots are curly and her ends are pinned straight. This is a smoothing system. There is a difference. I'll get into that for a second. But you will get up to 6 months with this. I always say up to 6 months. I don't guarantee 6 months, but I will say you get up to 6 months. I'll go through that a little bit more when it comes to care and maintenance. But I do tell my clients the system will last up to 6 months. But the one thing that I love about this system and that I've seen with this the most behind the chair is when I first do the system is incredible. It's beautiful. It is transformative. But then when my clients come to me 4 weeks later for their touch-up, their hair looks and feels even better. It's like the more the system wears in the hair, the actual better it gets. And then when my clients came to me for their 6-month touch-ups, their hair wasn't even as unruly as it naturally was before. So their hair becomes naturally more manageable. And even though the system lasts up to 6 months, it's not like you wake up one day and bam, your hair is a mess again. It's just your hair still holds on to it. It still has that softness, it still has that texture. You'll just start to see your natural kind of come through a little bit more. But it's never to the point where it used to. And like I said, the more you wear this system, the better it gets, the more beautiful your hair gets. And the shine is unreal, and especially on blonde's hair. That has been probably one of my favorite things to this. Because the one thing that a lot of blondes talk about is blonde hair never feels bright. That is the biggest thing, is brightness. Blonde's like, I want to feel bright, I want to feel bright. So we pre-light and we pre-light and we pre-light until the point that it is like beyond a color. And they're like, well, it still feels kind of dull. It doesn't feel bright. Blondes want shine. To have a way to give a mirror-like finish back into blonde hair is absolutely incredible, and it is transformative. Okay, so the system will last up to 6 months. One thing that I love too with this system is it can be completed in 1 day with other systems on the market. Let me just make sure there's nobody in the whatchamacallit, the waiting room. Nope. With other systems on the market, here, I'm gonna get there, she was late. With other systems in the market, you actually have to go home with chemical in your hair, or you have to wait a couple days before you can actually finish the steps of the process. With our system, it is done in 1 step, or sorry, 1 visit. It is a 3 to 4 hour appointment. It's absolutely incredible that way. So I love it. Let's get into some details and some information. I'll stop rambling on, okay? So points of difference, of course, the system is gonna last up to 6 months. It is completed in 1 step, or sorry, not 1 step, 1 appointment visit. You're not leaving with chemicals in your hair, which is fantastic. That was a system that was kind of more found in the States, not so much within Canada. It was one where you had to leave with chemicals in your hair for 24 to 48 hours. Kind of a mess. Couldn't put a dent in it or anything. And the other thing with our system is because we are free of harsh chemicals, we are free of formaldehyde, we are free of any of that, the client can go out and live her life and do absolutely anything she wants and will not interfere with the longevity of the system. If the client was to go out and jump in the ocean as soon as I'm done the system, it will not affect the longevity of the system. If the client is to go to her spin class, she's gonna throw her hair in a messy top knot, spin all day, sweat like crazy, not wash her hair, and leave her hair in a top knot all day, it's not gonna affect the longevity of her system. This is so important to me, is that we guarantee that we don't have to have the same rules and regulations that we used to have with other things, where it's like you have to wait 24 to 40 hours before you do anything. With this system, you don't have to. Because we don't have to worry about, formaldehyde getting washed off. The molecules are in there, and where they're set, okay? That's important to me. The clients don't have to worry about downtime. I do recommend you guys, I have done this system the same day as I have done chemical services like colors, things like that. I would probably wait 24 to 48 hours in between a coloring service and between doing the system itself. If that doesn't work for you, I've had no troubles with it whatsoever, but I would try and give it that little bit of a break, just to kind of let the color settle in a little bit. The one thing too that I do love about this system is if you are working with really high fashion colors, if you're working with really high intensity blondes or really ashy blondes, and you've seen a little bit of color disruption during the system, like you're done the system, she looks incredible, she looks brighter, but she's still not quite that silver that she wanted to be, you can actually go through after you're done this system and gloss her over and retone her hair. So there's no downtime for that either, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And I'll kind of give you guys some tips and tricks for that when it comes to the Q&A. And you guys, if you do have questions too, we do have the chat button available. Please, please, please feel free to drop some questions in the chat. Okay, let's talk a little bit about what we have in our system. So again, our system has 5 smart molecules, being ceramides. And ceramides are natural, they're found in your skin, actually, as it turns out. Wheat germ, mustard oil, acai, and keratin. What these are for, ceramides are designed to actually help the cuticle lay flat. This is going to eliminate dryness. This is going to help people out the porosity of the hair. This is also going to help for better moisture retention. All right. The one thing too you guys are going to find with this is a lot of everything that we work with does do similar things, most of which it is better moisture retention, improved elasticity, split end repair, and porosity equalization. And why those things are important is because when I talk to my clients about this behind the chair, I let them know you're going to end up having smaller, shorter drying times. Your air drying time is going to be cut down in half. Your blow drying time is going to be cut down in half. And that's important when I talk to my clients because they don't want to spend as much time behind the chair. Everything that we're selling them now is designed to help them style their hair quicker, style their hair faster, and style their hair healthier. All right. So with this system, everything is done to help with moisture retention, porosity equalization, and elasticity, as well as damage repair. So with the bioceramides, what those are designed to do is help the cuticle lay flat, help to eliminate dryness, and to help with your moisture retention. When it comes to your wheat germ is a long chain of fatty acids. This is high in omegas as well. All right, wheat germ has properties, once again, to fix dryness, add moisture to the hair, and softness. Okay, mustard seed oil, again, is designed to help reduce inflammation and irritation on the skin and the scalp. Okay. Your keratin is going to leave the hair shiny and smooth. This is going to eliminate your frizz, tame flyaways, and also give you long-lasting protection against thermal damage. So when I tell my clients, one of the key ingredients is, of course, the keratin. Keratin is going to actually help prevent further thermal damage. This is also going to help prevent chemical damage from coloring systems. It's going to create a little bit of a barrier there. This is where it's also time to have a realistic conversation with your client and let them know, of course, what I'm doing is putting in a shield in your hair. The shield is just a shield. This is not something to be taken lightly. You can't keep using your same Chi iron from 2004 with one temperature setting at 450 and continue to fry your hair. There is thermal protection in there, but let's be serious. This is not a miracle. Please do good care and maintenance at home as well. But I do like to let my clients know, like, we are putting something in there that is going to help prevent further chemical damage. And it is also going to be a little bit of a barrier for thermal protection as well for your hair. So it's like putting a heat defense system into the hair as you're working with this system. That is extremely important. All right. Acai, of course, has high amounts of antioxidants. Acai has been incredibly important. We've been drinking this for years, putting it in our smoothies, you know, eating it, and we do know the antioxidant properties into it, but this is important because this is actually going to help for the benefit of the hair, the scalp. This also, again, has omega-3 into it, and it's also going to help your hair prevent from free radicals and environmental damage. So when we talk about pollution, we talk about environmental, like interference, oxidization, things like that, the acai is actually going to help for prevention of that as well. So it's kind of cool. We're using 5 smart molecules found in everything that we see already in all day, and in our beauty products, in our skin, in our food. And we're using those as opposed to harsh chemicals to bring the nourishment back to your hair. And now, one thing I will tell you guys too, when I do talk to my clients about smoothing treatments are different than straightening treatments. So you have to remember this. When you're doing a straightening treatment is going to be much more aggressive, okay? Because it is a permanent straightening system. That means that hair will never go back to its natural body. That hair is permanently straight. So when it grows out, she will have a curly root and a straight end. It is a different system. With the crown, we are a smoothing system. You can get straighter results depending on the method that you use during your product application, your product choice, and your flat ironing settings, and your sectioning, which I will go over with you guys. But this is a smoothing system. So if your client has hair like this, what it could take it to is hair like this. If she has hair like this, what it could take it to is hair like this. When I'm talking to my clients about what to expect from this, if she's got extremely coarse, coily, curly hair, can I get a straighter result out of this system? Absolutely. Is she still going to possibly have to put some maintenance into her hair? Absolutely. This will not be a miracle cure for that. But what it's going to do is when she does do her styling, she's going to have a better result. It's going to change the texture of her hair from something that is extremely coarse to something that is extremely soft and more manageable. But it will not necessarily be a miracle cure of this to this. Okay, it is a smoothing system. That being said, I had a model in Saskatoon recently, and her hair, she was fabulous. She was a beautiful, beautiful model. She was, I believe, East Indian, and her hair was the coarsest texture hair I've ever touched in my life. Like unbelievably coarse. And we did the smoothing system. We did the pin straight system on her, which I'll go through with you when we're choosing our systems that we need for our client. And I am not kidding. When I blow dried her hair, I didn't have to flat iron it. It was straight. And this was incredible for me because I was like completely blown away by this. I'd never worked with anybody with texture like that before. That was completely different texture than I was used to. And she was so excited because she's tried other straightening systems in the market and nothing worked. And her stylist was there, which was super intimidating. And her stylist told me as we got going, she's like, by the way, nothing's worked on her before. And I'm like, fantastic, what a great model. This is gonna be great. And her hair, when I blow dried it, it was straight. But I always have a tendency to under promise and over deliver. So when I have a client behind my chair with that hair texture that's extremely coarse and curly, I do remind them, this is not a straightening system, this is a smoothing system. So do remember that you still, if you want that straight hair, I'm probably gonna have to put a little bit of effort into your hair. You're probably not gonna have to put in near as much as you're going to. And your results when you do style your hair are going to be better and last longer. But you are gonna have to put just a little bit of work into your hair. Does that kind of make sense to you guys? Yeah, I love that. Okay, I wanted this to be kind of fun and interactive, so I got a couple of videos to show you guys, and then we're gonna get into a little bit of hands-on, and we'll get back into theory. So I'm gonna share my screen here, if I can remember how. Share screen, start broadcast. Let's get it here. Files. I'm a sucker for good marketing. I like a good video. I'm just a fool that way, okay? So one more time, we're gonna talk about the bottles that we have here, and we're gonna talk about client consultation, okay? So again, with our system, we've got 4 different options for you. We've got 0 for virgin hair. We've got system 1 for chemically treated, color treated hair. We've got 1 Forte for coarse resistant hair, color treated hair. And then we've got system number 2 for pre-lightened hair. Now, this means that when I'm behind the chair and I'm doing a consultation with my client, if she is a full head of foils, back-to-back blonde, I don't have to go through and pick out all the highlights and put system 0, or system 2 on that and system 1 on the natural. What I will do is I will choose the formulation for what the majority of the hair is. So if she is a full head highlighted hair, I'm gonna choose system number 2. Does she have natural hair in there as well? Absolutely. Will this work on natural hair? 100%. But because the majority of what her hair is highlighted hair, I'm going to go with what the majority is. This is also going to come into play too when I'm talking to my clients about their hair history. And if they've done, like you got a client coming in to see you and she is, you know, once upon a time black, and now she's a beautiful medium brown. What is the hair history? What is going on there? So if she has been colored, like say a level 7 here, but down here has been pre-lightened from a 1 to a 7, and then colored down to a 7. So this has pre-lightened hair through here. Of course, I'm going to choose a different formulation from there. So I'm going to customize from there. So if you've got a client coming in with a clear line of demarcation of pre-lightening, that's when you can modify your formulation from there as well. So say she's a gray, you know, our fabulous silver hair clients are growing their gray out right now. And one thing that they're finding is they don't like the texture of their hair. So say she's been natural, beautiful silver to about ear, and then from ear down it's been pre-lightened, then I would customize my formulation from there. And I would do system 0 for virgin hair up to the line of demarcation. Then I would do system 2 for pre-lightened hair onto the ends. So you can customize your systems that way, depending on what the client has. But if the client is majority one over the other, so say she's majority full head highlights over natural, I would choose a system that is designed for the highlights. I would choose a system that is designed for the most fragile areas. That being said, if she is chemically treated colored everywhere, she just has a bit of money pieces into the front, I would do system number 1, absolutely everywhere else, and then just maybe paint system number 2 over top of the money pieces. Okay, do your customization, find out what the client's hair history is. And especially if she has had a fairly aggressive pre-lighting in the past, you want to make sure that you are formulating appropriately for that. And I love it because sometimes clients will come in and they're like, well, I haven't colored my hair in forever. And it's like, well, how long is forever? Well, it's been a year. And also find out too if they have had any other chemical straightening systems or any of the perm systems done within the last 6 months. Okay. This system really does work good for reversing perms because, you know, that's been a fun thing is people trying to perm their hair recently and realizing that they actually hate how that works. But I do like to make sure I give it a good month before I go through and do that. All right. So you're going to kind of customize your solution for your client's specific needs. All right. But whatever the majority is the system that I go for. So again, if she's a full head foils, go for system number 2. Because you want to use it for the pre-lightened hair, wherever the majority is. If she had a really heavy line of demarcation from where her natural or previous color was to where the highlighted shades were, then I would customize my formulation from there. I would find where the color treated was, and I would use either system 1 or 1 forte, and then system number 2 on the ends. I don't necessarily recommend mixing 1 or 2 bottles together too. That's the question that I get a lot is people ask me, you know, can I mix system 1 and number 2 together? I don't necessarily recommend it. I would prefer to just kind of target the areas or use a system that I feel would be best and most appropriate to it. All right.
Quick question, Jessie. When you are formulating for previous hair history and you maybe don't formulate correctly and you're using something that is a little bit too strong for what their ends can technically handle, what are your negative results going to be?
Really, I haven't seen negative results so far because I pushed the limits with this. The only thing that I saw was a little bit of color disruption. That was the biggest thing. So the areas of her hair that were dark, that were previously pre-lightened before and then colored over top of it, I saw just a little bit of color fading into those areas there. That was about the extent of it. Of course, it would depend if her hair was like severely damaged, then I would probably see a little bit of shrinking or a little bit more color disruption from there. But that was about the extent of it. I hadn't seen anything else. And you guys, like I said, with certain shades, you will see a slight bit of color shift to it. So funny story, I'll just tell you guys this real quick. One of my first models I ever did this with was my girl, Lydia. Lydia is fabulous. She's half ginger, half First Nations. So we know what that hair already is like. It is a level 1 with a lot of red. And Lydia is pre-lightened to a 12. Okay, like this girl has been bleached to the point where that hair is the color of naught because it is so blonde, it is the color of naught. This will not bump the base. Deanna, I'll come back to that question in a second. Don't let me forget that, okay? So, but Lydia, she was pre-lightened to a 12, but then colored down with a fashion color. So for Lydia's hair, we chose formula number 2 for pre-lightened hair. Now, Lydia at the time was hot pink. By the time we were done with Lydia, Lydia was a beautiful pastel pink. So we did see a slight color, just a slight color shift from that. I've only really seen it with my blondes. I have not seen it with my darks. So when you talked about bumping the base, Deanna, can you go ahead and unmute yourself for me for a second? Okay, 1 sec to get that going. Is it gonna work? I'm assuming when we talk about bumping the base, what if it'll let me? No, okay, I'll just give you two solutions here. So I'm assuming when we talk about bumping the base, are we talking about, give me a thumbs up if we're talking about artificial color base, or a thumbs down if we're talking about natural color base? Thumbs up, okay. When we're talking about artificial color base, this will not bump the base, depending on what the base is. So with, how has been the biggest thing? So, okay, again, when I'm telling you guys about other brands compared to this brand, I'm not speaking ill about other brands, okay? So I used to work with another system on the market. It was a common one. It was found at ESP. And when I used that system, my client was a level 5. By the time I was done doing her hair, she was a level brassy 7.5, almost 8. That bumped that base something dirty. Okay, with this system, it has not done that. I did this too, and I pushed it. I had a client come in recently, Janet, love Janet. Janet is 5'0". She's Schwarzkopf 5'0". Okay, she is a high level gray coverage, coarse resistant hair. So I pushed it with her, and I did system 1 forte. I did my strong guy, and I flat ironed her at a very high temperature, very small sections, and I did 17 passes per section. She was still a 5. That was the biggest thing. It didn't bump her base, but you know what it did do was it made her color look less harsh. All of a sudden, she had more dimension to her color. Because her cuticle was laying flat, her color did look a little bit lighter, but it didn't look lighter because the base got bumped. It looked lighter because it looked richer. There was more dimension and more shine to it. So it won't bump your base, but unless you have your flat iron way too high, then you'll end up with some situations. But if you do the system right, you don't bump your base. I'll tell you that real quick. But with working with it behind the chair and appropriately, it didn't bump her base. It just made her color look like it had more life to it. And to me, that was so important because the one thing that I found with her hair, and especially with a lot of my clients, I'm finding with my high grade coverage, is they're having a tendency to look very opaque. They're looking very flat these days. And especially, I'm a Schwarzkopf person, so I can only speak to it in that context. With my double O's, my high pigment, high coverage grays, they're starting to look very flat. So by doing the system into their hair, all of a sudden, because the cuticle is laying flat, there's more shine, there's more definition, and there's better health to the hair. The hair looks like it has more dimension to it. It brings the life back out of it. Most of the times where I do see a little bit of a color in disruption is in my blondes. And it's only because my super ashy blondes love to be so crisp and cool. By the time I am done the system, they will be slightly warmer, but then all I do is I go through and I regloss them at the end. I just retone them. And then they're done completely. But then it's actually been funny with some of my blondes, I've actually taken my blondes away from the dull grays and transferred them into more of the like beige blondes, the California blondes, because after I'm done the system, they like how bright their hair looks. And because it's like taking all the years of that dead toner off, it's just giving them such a clean foundation, and it's making their hair feel so much softer and so much healthier and look so much healthier that their blonde looks brighter. Their blonde looks like it has more dimension to it. But I do have the opportunity to go through and re-cool them off if she is a die-hard silver. Like if she wants to be as gray as my jacket, that's totally fine. I can go through after I'm done the system and re-gloss her. Okay? So that is the only thing. But you will not bump the client's base unless your flat iron is significantly too high. And you will never bump the client's natural base because we are free of harsh chemicals that will do that. So it works out really good. Okay? Do you guys want to talk a little bit about product application? Yeah, thumbs up. Polly, you're the only one I see right now, my friend. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys a quick little video that they did because the marketing team worked so hard on the marketing. I gotta show you guys the videos because they're also kind of fun. I'm gonna get my mannequin ready and then I'll show you guys a little bit of product application. And I'll be back in 2 seconds. Share my screen. Start broadcast. Surcharge. Oh my gosh, where's my video? There we go. Love that. Again, I'm a sucker for good marketing. Any kind of visuals, things like that, I just love. I'm very simple that way. I like pictures and I like videos. Now, here is my model. Part of her has not been treated. This is what she's starting off with. Okay, fabulous, gorgeous, fantastic. This side has had the solution process in it and has not been flat ironed. This has just been processed and blow dried. And already look at the difference in through that, okay? And I'm like saying I did this at 9 a.m., so this was not a lot of effort in the blow dry. This was pretty much just rough dried with the Gumi brush, which you guys have not experienced the Gumi brush from ESP yet. I would highly recommend it. Probably my favorite brush whatsoever. It is absolutely incredible, okay? Now, with our system, the one thing that you always wanna do is start with a clean base, okay? You always are going to shampoo them, and you're going to shampoo them with nothing other than our pre-shampoo treatment. All right, pre-shampoo treatment is our cleansing shampoo. Now, one thing to be confused about with this, or not to be confused about, this is not a stripping shampoo. Okay, this shampoo and conditioner, when you use it, does not feel like you are stripping the life out of the hair. It has almost like a cream consistency to it, almost like a little bit of a serum. And when you lather it, it doesn't lather up like a high soap because it's free of harsh sulfates and parabens. It almost lathers up like a beautiful froth. So when you are working with this, an extremely fragile hair too, I was really impressed because the hair feels clean, but the hair does not feel stripped. All right. And I think that somebody asked me about products to be used at home. Yes, there's going to be a demonstration. You can color before or after. I'll get through all this stuff. We'll go through that in a second. Okay. But you go through, and even if I have done a chemical service the same day as this, so again, I've done my blondes, I've done my brunettes, I've done all my chemical services the same day as this. When I use my shampoo, my pre-treatment shampoo, it doesn't strip the color out. It doesn't strip the toner out. But you want to make sure you are starting with a clean base. So if the client has come in and she's got relatively dirty hair, I would recommend 2 shampoos. If she's got relatively clean hair, you could do 1 shampoo. I am a freak. I always do 2 shampoos. And again, I've not seen color stripping coming out of this. And it doesn't leave the hair feeling raw. And especially because from this point forward, you know, right now after I've done this, I've done my 2 good clarifying shampoos. I'm not using any conditioner. There can be no product in the hair whatsoever. So give her 2 good cleansing shampoos. Okay, no conditioner, no leave-in conditioner, no porosity equalizer, absolutely nothing. Okay, that hair needs to be clean and starting from base. But the thing that I love about it is because once again, this is not a harsh stripping clarifying shampoo. I can still brush through her hair even though she's got no conditioner in it whatsoever. And I've used this on some terrible hair. And it worked out beautiful and I could still brush through it. Of course, I am a fanatic. Again, the Gumi brush, which is new from ESP, or the Mint Craze brush. Those are my best friends. The only things that I work with behind the chair for getting through hair that is no conditioner in it, because it's the only thing, in my opinion, that I'll really work with. But I digress, all right? So from there, you're going to blow dry the hair. Now, when you blow dry the hair, you want to get it about 80% dry. You want to leave about 20% of the moisture still in the hair. The reason why we recommend leaving about 20% of the moisture still in the hair is just to help the product apply a little bit easier, with a little bit more slip. I know, I love the Craze brush, love the Craze brush. Digress. You want to leave about 20% of the moisture in the hair just to make sure that there's just a little bit of hydration. So when you are doing a product application, it kind of just slips a little bit easier. It doesn't get absorbed so heavily. If you're working with really, really, really coarse resistant hair, something like you'd see a little bit more like this, I would almost get that hair 100% dry just to make sure I can get as much product saturation in there as I want, but I might just end up using a little bit more product. When I talk about 80% dry, leaving 20% of the moisture, it's just like if you touch it, it just feels like a little bit cool still. It doesn't feel wet. There's no pockets of damp here, 100% dry here. It's kind of like a global, just about 80%. So it just feels that little bit of something still in there. If I was to get it 100% dry, would that interfere with it? No. Would it wreck it? No. But I do want to leave just a little bit of moisture in there, just for a little bit of product slippage in there for me, okay? From there, I divide the hair always into 4 different quadrants. I do back left, back right, front left, front right, okay? Keep even, keep clean with your quadrants, okay? You have to be very precise with your product application, and you have to be extremely precise with your flat ironing as well. So make sure you are working with a nice clean system. Pro tip, make sure you check your clips for color, because that's happened to me before. That was a situation we don't talk about, okay? Select the formulation that is appropriate for your client. So for instance, my girl here, I'm going to use system number 1 for color treated hair. I could probably go Forte for her, but I'm just going to go with system number 1. Sometimes if I'm unsure of whether I should use system 1 or system 1 Forte, I'll always choose not the gentler of the two, but kind of the devil I know versus the devil I don't. So I'd always go for system 1 first and just see how it is. And if I do the system and I'm like, you know what, I probably could have bumped that up to 1 Forte, I would just update her notes from there, being like, okay, so next time use system 1 Forte for more resistant hair. She could have had a little bit of stronger formulation to it. Does that kind of make sense to you guys? Yeah. Now, so I'm gonna use system number 1. Now, the one thing you wanna do is when you have your bottle, and we've got 2 different bottle sizes, we've got big bottle sizes, we've got small bottle sizes. Okay, we have 3 different inches available for you. Your DSC will help you out with picking which is the best one for you. Just quickly shake the bottle up a little bit. You kind of just want to wake that product up. It's been sitting on the shelf for a little bit. It just needs a little kind of wake up. It's like having your coffee first thing in the morning. Now, I do recommend using a scale and measuring to how much product you are going to be working with. All right. I find for most of my clients, 60 grams does most of their head. All right, 60 grams goes a long way. So what I do is I measure in 30-gram increments and work my way up from there, as opposed to pouring a full bowl and wondering like, is this gonna be enough? Is this not gonna be enough? I always will start off with 30-gram increments and work my way up from there. I do the same thing with my lightener. It's just easier that way. Okay, from there, just pour your product into the bowl. And the one thing you're gonna notice from this product is there's no harsh smell to it. There's no aggressive, overly chemical smell. It does not smell like a perm, which to me makes my life so happy. Because for my clients sitting there with this product in their hair and during the product application, sorry, people are just rejoining us. During the product application, they don't want to smell harsh chemicals. They don't want to feel kind of interference or possibly burning in the eyes like we've experienced with perms before. All right, so shake up the bottle, pour it in a 30 ml application. It's going to look something like this. Beautiful, glossy, violet. And then you're going to work in small sections. Now, the one brush that I will recommend for you guys is going to be your Famar Feather Tip Emperor brush. This brush is amazing. I like a feather tip brush as opposed to a strong brush, just because with the feather tip brush, you're going to get a little bit more product application, or a little bit more equal product application. That's what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so it's just a little bit of a softer thing. A little bit of product goes a long way. All right, and when you're applying this product, the one thing that you should remember is it should look something similar to a demi-permanent glaze. All right, so if I was working behind the chair, I would always start in the back, working my way from lower to higher. Okay, I start in the nape, I start on my left side. My left side is always my terrible side. That's why I always start on my left side, and I work from back going up. My sections should be 1/2 inch section for my product application. For the sake of my model here today, I'm actually going to work in the front. I'm going to clean up my sectioning here, get this stuff out of the way. And I'm going to take 1/2 inch sections, okay? So when I'm taking 1/2 inch sections, 1/2 inch section is about the size of my finger. And they're very small, small sections. And they're very even, clean sections. This is important to me, okay? When I am taking my product, the one thing I'm not going to do is take my brush and scoop. Because I don't need the product living high up on the brush. I need the product to live more towards the end. So when I take my product and my brush, I gently just kind of dip it in there. This is not the same as applying color. You don't have to be so heavy with it. Okay, so I'm just gonna take my brush, dip it in there, kind of take off a little bit of the excess. Now this is important. You don't want to go really heavy on top of the scalp. You want to brush up to the scalp, but not over top of the scalp. Again, we have what product in there that helps prevent the scalp from irritation? Mustard oil. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start just actually a little bit lower, and I'm going to feather my way up, going to the scalp, but I'm staying about 1/8 of an inch away from the scalp. Okay, so as you guys can see, I'm gently starting about 1/2 inch away and working my way up. And then I'm going to start feathering it down. Okay, then I'm going to take the comb set of my brush and I'm going to brush it in. Now, when I'm holding this up and I'm looking at this, you guys can see where the product has been applied, but you can see where it's a little bit drier and I don't have even product application. And if I hold the underneath, same thing. I can see where the product has been applied and I can see where the product hasn't been applied. That means I need a little bit more product on my brush. So one more time, I'm not scooping and swooping. I'm just very gently dipping my brush into the bowl, getting that little bit of product, and I'm only working with about that much. And I'm gonna start from about the line where I stopped, and I'm gonna feather it down, feather it down, feather it down. And then I'm gonna take the comb set of my brush and I'm gonna comb it in. I'm gonna work along the hairline, scooping all those little things. And you guys, when I comb, I should not see heavy amounts of product on my comb. If I take my fingers and run my fingers over her hair like this, I should not see high amounts of product in my fingers. I'll show you what too much would look like. If I was to take it, really scoop it like that, really comb it through, and see how as I'm applying this, that is a waste. That is a waste of product. If you see product dripping on the floor, it's a waste of product. If you have too much product saturation for a section and you don't want to waste it, and you're looking at that and you're like, oh my gosh, that's way too much product. Like I'm running my hands through that and I'm pulling all this excess off. That's too much product application. So then what I would do is take another 1/2 inch section and use that over product saturation to my advantage and comb section B into section A. Just to kind of help a little bit more diffusion. Okay, make the most out of this product. And one more time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna very gently dip my brush into the bowl, and you guys can see it's only living at the ends of the feather tip brush. I don't have product up here. Product doesn't need to be here, okay? That is wasting it. And I'm gonna start about 1/2 inch away from the scalp, and I'm gonna gently feather it up, staying about 1/8 of an inch away from the scalp, so about the size of a rat tail comb. I'm gonna feather up to the scalp, and then I'm gonna start feathering my brush down. And when I am doing my product application too, it's not like when I'm doing a color and I'm brushing down like this. When I'm doing my product application for the crown, I'm always have my feather tip brush facing down, combing it into the hair strand as I go. Okay, then once again, I'm gonna take the comb part of my brush and I'm just comb it through, comb it through, comb it through. And when I look at this, I'm gonna go a little bit to the left. And when you're working with the hairline, don't be afraid to pull the hair back and really get up to those little flyaways. All right. And again, if I run my hands through this now, I should not see high amounts of product left in between my fingers. When I use my comb and I comb through, I should not see a lot of product build up on the comb there. If I see too much product build up on the comb, I've used too much product. But I do want to make sure I see this hair and this hair looks like it has product on it. Almost like you're doing a glaze or a demi-permanent color. I always equate this, it should look like if I have, you know, vibrance over top of it with the gel development. That's how it should look like. It should look like it has a clear glaze to it, okay? And it should look covered. You will start to see the product actually dry as you go. So if I'm starting in the back, working my way forward, my product application time should take no longer than really 30 minutes. All right. Now, as I go, what I can end up seeing is by the time I'm done my 30 minutes, my ends might just look a little bit dry. I just might grab a little bit of extra product and kind of just slap a little extra product onto the ends as I'm done my product application. But you do want to make sure that the hair is coated, okay? You want to make sure that it's covered and it is saturated, but it's not dripping. If it is dripping, you're wasting product. From there, you're going to put a processing cap over top of the hair. When I put a processing cap over the hair, it is light, it is not really wrapped up snug and tight, and there is no clip sitting in the hair. The clip will not affect the hair. But I do like to just put a little processing cap over top of everything, just kind of trap in a little bit of moisture and trap a little bit of heat, okay? This can be processed with a roller ball if your salon does have a roller ball available to you. If your salon does not have a roller ball available to you, don't worry about it. You can process it at room temperature. The processing time is going to vary on the client's hair texture and this product selection that you've chosen. So the processing time for chemical treated hair or pre-lightened hair is going to be 60 minutes. The processing time for virgin hair is going to be 75 to 90 minutes. This is going to depend on the hair texture of the virgin hair. If she's got natural, kind of soft virgin hair, you're going to process for 75 minutes. If she's got strong resistant virgin hair, you're gonna process for 90 minutes. With chemical treated or pre-lightened hair, your processing time is always 60 minutes. And my 60 minutes starts as soon as I'm done the entire head's application. All right, that is when my 60 minutes starts. All right, don't have to worry about processing them under a hood dryer. Let them process at room temperature. The only time I will process them with any heat whatsoever is if I am using rollerball, because of course rollerballs accelerate product development. So that's the only time I would adjust that. Now, when I talk to my clients about this too, you guys, and be realistic with them and be realistic for my sales reps, there is an advantage to having 60-minute processing time. A lot of people are like, that's too long, that's too long. 60 minutes is not long. When we think about most of our colors these days, most of our colors process for 45 minutes. The advantage of a 60-minute processing time is I have the advantage of double booking. Love that. Love that. Now I'm careful with what I double book. I will not necessarily double book this with a color. What I will double book this with is actually haircuts. So in between that system, while that 60-minute processing time is available going on, I have the opportunity to go and do another haircut. So there, I can make $85 in between my $707 or my $700 system. All right, the only reason I would choose a haircut as opposed to a coloring system is because sometimes the timing will not work out on the back end of this system as opposed to with a haircut's just one step and go. All right, I did double book this with foils once, a little hard to navigate. That was a bit of a trickier situation. I was thankful I had a girl named Jaden to help me because she really saved my tush at that time. But I do let my clients or other stylists know, I'm like, this is going to give you an opportunity to, you know, A, either have a really good long lunch break, or B, give yourself the advantage to make a little bit more money and throw a haircut in between there. All right. The processing time is the processing time. This does not adjust. There is no going back and checking and looking for anything specific. I just let it process, walk away, check with your clients, make sure that they're comfortable, make sure that they're happy, they're good. From there, I'm going to rinse the product. Now, the rinsing is where things get a little bit technical and where it's going to determine what the client's hair texture is. If you're working with coarse resistant hair, you're going to rinse 75% of the product out of her hair, leaving 25% of the product still in the hair. If she's got baby fine hair, you're gonna rinse that hair to 90%. All right? The reason we're rinsing the baby fine hair to 90% is because of course we need less product in the hair for the next step, whereas the coarse resistant hair, we need a little bit more product in there. What does that look like and what does that feel like? Really, when it comes down to it, you guys, this is where it becomes a little bit of practice. If I was accidentally to rinse coarse hair 90%, would it affect my longevity? Would it damage the hair? No. All right, but you really will start to get the hang of what does 90% feel like, what does 75% feel like as you're working with the system. It's like driving a standard. The first time I drove a standard, I bunny hopped myself through an intersection. The 5th time I drove a standard, I finally knew how to properly accelerate. You know, it is getting used to it, but just making sure you do leave that little bit of product in the hair whatsoever. So when I'm rinsing, what I will do is, of course, hold the ends out of the hair, get my temperature to a nice medium heat, nothing too hot, nothing too cold. And I'll quickly rinse the most dense areas forward, dense area into the back, then I'll draw my ends and rinse my ends with everything as I go. But you do want to leave a little bit of product in the hair. And what that feels like is when I run my hands through the hair and I feel it, I should feel a little bit of product still in there. If you have not rinsed enough, you have not rinsed enough, what you will see is as you are flat ironing, you will see a little bit of vapor coming off. Here's the good part. The vapor does not burn your throat. The vapor does not burn your eyes. Why does the vapor not burn your throat and burn your eyes? Because we're free of harsh chemicals, we're free of formaldehyde. So even if I do have vapor coming off and I've not rinsed enough once or twice, let me tell you, I'm human, it is what it is. Yes, I saw a little bit of smoke in the air. It looked like it was like just did a wedding party in the salon. But nobody's eyes burned, nobody's throats burned. But that also taught me what I needed to do for my next time was be a little bit more thorough with my rinsing. All right. So really do be cautious about that and you will get the hang of it. From there, you are going to now take the client, and again, you're only rinsing the product out. You're not shampooing, you're not conditioning, you're just rinsing the product. You're gonna bring that client back to the chair. You are going to get her 100% dry. And when you are blow drying her, chances are she'll look a little something like this. The product will be partially activated by this point. You're going to start getting smoother results. I will not necessarily round brush at this point. I'll kind of just flat brush. I'll just make sure that the hair is in smooth enough texture that I can get through it. Now, depending on my client's results, I'm going to go 8 to 10 passes. We have 3 different families within our smoothing collection. We've got smooth, we've got super sleek, pin straight, and we've got keep the curl. Pin straight and keep the curl, I'm going to talk to you guys about at the very end. All right, what I'm going to go with right now is just nice and smooth. So I'm going to want to go with 8 to 10 flat iron passes on my client's hair. She's going to look something like this. Once again, I'm going to divide that hair into 4 quadrants. Back, right, back, left, front, right, front, left. And I'm going to work in small sections. My sections are going to be ½ inch section. So one more time, when I'm taking my flat ironing sections, it is going to be ½ inch section, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and take one. And the steal a clip from another section. And I'll show you guys what to look for with your flat iron. ½ inch section, okay? Now say I was working in the back and this section was a little bit wide for my flat iron, I would split it into pants. Here's my left leg, here's my right leg. And I would work individually from there. If the section is narrow enough that it is going to fit in my flat iron, I will keep it as it is. But if you're working in the area of the head where it's starting to get a little bit too wide, split the hair into pants. I always keep a comb with me. Now, your temperature setting is going to depend on the client's hair texture. For pre-lightened hair, and I don't care if she's a full head foils with natural in between, for pre-lightened hair, your flat iron is going to live at 390. Okay, for color treated hair, your hair is going to live at 410. For virgin natural or coarse resistant hair, your flat iron is going to live at 450. Don't push this, you don't need to. This is what I was saying, with one system does not fit all, one bottle does not fit all, one temperature does not fit all. This is going to give you the opportunity to customize your system for your client. So if my client has pre-lightened hair in through here, all right, but she's got color treated hair up to here, I'm gonna have 2 different flat irons going. This flat iron is going to be working to the line of demarcation at 410. This flat iron is going to be working at 390 down here. I usually do try and have 2 or 3 flat irons kind of on the go depending on what I've got going on. I also replace my flat iron quite often. I recently, off topic, got the new mint rose gold one. Oh, love it. The reason I love it is the paddle is a little bit wider, so for smoothing systems, it's incredible, okay? For my model here today, she has color treated hair. My flat iron is going to live at 410. I'm not gonna push this, I don't need to. Now, the one thing I like to do is I like to kind of flat iron the roots a little bit first. Now, this is also an opportunity when you're talking to your client to tell them, if you're telling me a really good story, I wanna hear it, I don't wanna hear it right now, I need to focus. You need to be thorough with your counting. We are going to do 10 flat iron passes on our client's hair. If I was going for the super, super silky, silky straight effect, I would be doing 15 to 17 passes on my client's hair. So this is why I'm telling you, tell your clients, now is not the time to talk, can't wait to hear the story, you know, but we'll come back to this, all right? I need to be thorough. So what I like to do with my flat ironing is I work in small section. It is going to be a ½ inch parting. If I was going for super, super straight, it would be a ¼ inch. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take my flat iron and I'm gonna start at the roots. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I can see the line of demarcation from where I have flat ironed and where I have not flat ironed. And like, look at the difference. And you guys can see, look at the shine that's starting to activate in there. And this is on like terrible mannequin hair. And all of a sudden, you can see the difference of the no shine and the shine. That shine stays in there. So I've got my line of demarcation. So I'm gonna start from that point using my comb as a guide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. And you guys can see, I'm gonna do one more for good luck. Did you guys see like any vapor coming off of there? Deanna, you're the only color or camera I can see right now. Give me a thumbs up. Did you see any high vapor coming off that? Thumbs up if you didn't. Right, exactly, that's the biggest thing. But again, and on like terrible mannequin hair, look at the shine on that all of a sudden. And I'm telling you guys that this mannequin, she has been sitting in a furnace room for about 4 months now. I just pulled her out for the sake of this. She has seen some things, she has seen some times. And I'm being very precise with my sectioning. And now I'm getting into a little bit of a wider section. This is where I'm gonna split this into pants. Okay, I'm gonna divide my left side from my right side. So I've got my left pant leg, my right pant leg, because my flat iron might not be wide enough to get the entire section thoroughly. And one more time, I'm gonna be very, very precise with what I'm doing. I'm gonna start at the root, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And as I flat iron, I kind of give it that little bit of a bend of the root. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm only gonna do one more section here, so you guys don't have to watch me do this because it's like watching paint dry. So my second section, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'm gonna do the ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get rid of the previous section. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then maybe I'll do one more just to kind of marry the two together. And you guys can see there's no vapor coming off. And when I'm holding my flat iron too, I'm not like dead gripping it. I'm not really ripping it. But when I am going from my pass up and my pass down, I open my flat iron. So it's this, open the flat iron all the way up, this. It's not this. Because then you're just kind of backcombing the hair, okay? So be very precise with what you're doing with this. And again, you're gonna start to see the product work. You're gonna start to see the product activation and you're gonna see the shine to it. If you try pushing the limits with your heat, and like, you know what? I feel like she could be pre-lightened, but she's got stronger hair. I'm gonna push her temperature from 390 to like 440. If you flat iron over top of that hair and that hair looks like it is shrunk, you're doing it too high and you're just gonna end up dehydrating the hair and burning it. We are very specific with our temperature settings for a reason. You don't have to push it, okay? Just really behind the chair, stick with what you know and go from there. Don't try frying that hair off, okay? Don't go 450 on pre-lightened hair, it doesn't need it. There's a reason why we do the product recommendations for it. Go ahead, Deanna.
Thank you. Just wondering, can you use this on extensions?
Oh, 100%. Oh yeah, like I'll get to that at the end because I of course work as a master educator for hot head hair extensions, and I have had some fun when it comes to extensions in the system. I'll talk to you guys about that at the end. So from here, you are going to want to continue going your way all around the head, doing your flat ironing passes, okay? And I work from back left, back right, front left, front right, okay? And I spend lots of time paying extra special attention around the hairline. And sometimes too, for the hairline, I'll actually have the clients pull their ear down so I can really get into the section and behind the hair there because they don't want those little frizzy kicking up around the hairline and through there, all right? So be very thorough with your sections and be very methodical to it. After you are done all your flat iron passes, what you're going to do is take your paddle brush, your favorite one, either Mint, Crazy, Boomy, personal preference, and you're going to take your blow dryer on a medium setting and you're just going to take your time just to kind of blow dry that hair. Blow dry from left to right, back to front, just encouraging natural movement back into the hair. This is what's going to help maintain the body. Take about 3 minutes just to quickly re-blow dry the hair and give it some swing and flow. From there, you're going to take her and now you're going to shampoo her with the post shampoo. Beautiful bottle like this. Now, if I did see color disruption in her blonde hair whatsoever, as soon as I was done shampooing with the post shampoo, that is when I would go through and retone her or regloss her. But if I'm retoning her and reglossing her, I am only using a demi or semi-permanent. I am not using a permanent. Okay, this is where you go through and you would regloss your client if they need it. If they don't need it, don't do it. All right, but if they do need to be reglossed, this is the opportunity to do it, is after you've done your post shampoo. Okay, from there, you are going to use my seriously favorite product in the freaking world, which is the Supreme Mask. The Supreme Mask has all the same ingredients as our system. It's got all the 5 key smart molecules in it in a conditioning form. And this mask is to die for. If I could retail this jumbo bottle of mask, I 100% would. I would retail for $300, and I would retail it with pride, and I would retail it with conviction, because this product is to die for. Especially bringing life back to old extensions. I'm telling you, there's nothing like the Supreme mask. It's unbelievable. You're gonna let that sit in the hair for 3 minutes. That's all it needs. Then rinse them, take them back to the station, blow dry them, style them like normal. Now, a lot of people ask me, and this is one thing that I kind of want to talk to you guys about. As soon as you're done your flat ironing passes, the hair looks like this, and it feels like silk. Okay? It looks and feel incredible. People will be like, can't I just go home now? Do you have to rinse and condition me? Yes, you do. You do, you do, you do. The reason why you do is because you have rinsed that hair only 75% or 90%. That means there is still between 25 to 10% of that product still left in the client's hair. I do not let my clients leave with chemical in her hair. All right? I compare this as to me walking out of a tattoo shop without my tattoo bandaged. Will my tattoo still heal? Yes. Will it heal well? Probably not. If I let my client walk out with the system still in her hair and the chemical still in her hair, will the system still work? Yes. Will it still work as well? I don't know. I can't guarantee it. I just won't do it. I want to make sure that there's no chemical residue left in my client's hair whatsoever. I want to make sure that the service is finished. For me, a tattoo appointment is not finished until that tattoo is cleaned up and it is bandaged. All right? The service has to be finished. And especially working with luxury services, you guys, and I want to go through pricing with you towards the end. It has to be finished. All right? No question about it. Now that's the system if I'm going through and going for a really smooth result. If I'm going for pin straight, super smooth, as silky and straight as I possibly can get, the only thing I'm going to change is my flat ironing passes and my sectioning. I'm going to go from 8 to 10 passes to 15 to 17 passes. Okay? And this may seem like a knot, but it's actually not as much as you would think. When you get to the counting, it becomes rhythmic. All right? So instead of 8 to 10 passes for super pin straight, super sleek, 15 to 17 passes per section. My sections are also going to go from 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch. All right? To possibly, if she's got really strong hair, up to 1/8 inch. I stick at the 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch is perfectly fine. I don't need to adjust my temperature. So if I am going for a super straight result on really coarse blonde hair, I'm not bumping my temperature up. All I'm doing is increasing my flat iron passes. All right, you guys? Let's talk about a little bit of a trickier one. This one is called Keep the Curl. And Keep the Curl is something that I'm kind of working with a little bit behind the chair here. When we talk about our company of course originates in Israel, where we've got much stronger texture. We're huge in the Mediterranean. Like the crown is just blown up over there, and especially for keeping the curl pattern. Keep the Curl to me is designed for clients who have a really strong curl pattern, but have a really fuzzy curl pattern. If she has that, and excuse the guys, the expression, it's a little rough, but it's all I have. That white girl, like scrunch it with mousse and look super dehydrated and there's a little bit of wave in there. Yeah, that's not gonna, no, not designed for that. If she does not have enough curl to actually be a curl, this might not work. This might straighten that curl out because she doesn't really have a curl, she's got a squiggle. All right, unless she has a curl, we're not keeping the curl because we're not keeping a squiggle, we're keeping a curl. Does that kind of make sense to you guys? Yeah. So I really am thorough with my client in my consultation for that, where I'm like, there is a difference between a curl and a squiggle. Because I've had some models come up to me and they're like, I want to keep the curl. I'm like, you have no curl. You got a squiggle. You got a wave. You got like lumbar street in San Francisco, girl. That is your curl. All right. It is not a curl. Then I'll sell them the retail because the retail is designed to keep the frizz down and help with everything, but she wouldn't lose that curl. If I was to do the system on somebody with a squiggle as opposed to a curl, it could end up straightening that squiggle out. So just got to keep that in mind a little bit. It sounds stupid, but it doesn't. So the difference between the two systems, with Keep the Curl as opposed to the other systems in the market, you're going to follow all the same steps like you normally would. You're going to select 0 or 140 depending on the client's needs. All right. You are going to let this process under heat with no bag, just a towel over top of it for 60 minutes. But when I talk about heat, you guys, I would probably encourage either an infrared lamp or roller ball, as opposed to like a direct, really aggressive hood dryer. If I am putting her under a hood dryer, I'm putting her under a medium setting, not a super high setting, because I don't want to like blast it with so much heat. She's uncomfortable for that much time. From there, I'm going to rinse the hair 80%, leaving 20% of the product still in the hair. I'm going to blow dry her smooth like I normally would. My flat iron passes are going to be a bit different though. My sections are going to go from 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. It's about 3 fingers, 1.5 inches. All right. And I'm only going to flat iron over each section about 3 to 5 times. And it's quick. It's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a 2-inch barrel curling iron, and for just 10 seconds per section, I'm gonna quickly at the end, quickly wrap that section with the curling iron, just to kind of help give it a little bit of curl memory. Then I'm gonna take it and rinse it like normal. All right. Those are the tips for keep the curl on people with curl. All right. Now, that being said, I pushed it this weekend recently. I went to a salon called Mousy Brown's. Fabulous. They gave me a model. She had like, you know, like a curl. You know, this, not this. She had like this. And it was beautiful. So what we did for her was we processed her a little bit differently. We did, of course, the number 1 for color treated hair. We let it sit for the 60 minutes. I rinsed it, and all I did was 3 quick flat iron passes per section, and I did 2-inch sections. Her hair looked and felt amazing, and she did keep the curl, which was huge. Okay. But when I'm talking to my clients behind the chair, if it's a squiggle, not a curl, it's not for her. You are going to run the risk of smoothing that hair out too much and her losing that little squiggle that she has there. This is for your girls with actual curl who don't want to lose the curl. All right. I have used this system though, again, you guys, when we talk about it being a smoothing system, as opposed to a straightening system, I've used this system to changing the curls in some of my clients. I've got one client who he has like coiled hair, like my pinky size coils all through his hair, really, really dehydrated, really tangly, really hard to work with. I do the system on him. I use my same steps as I do for smooth, going 10 passes in 1/2 inch sections. He ends up leaving with Jon Snow curl. Like it's the most beautiful, big, bouncy curl. He doesn't lose the curl. It just changes his curl texture from something he can't manage to something he can manage. So it's absolutely incredible for that. Does that kind of make sense to you guys? Yeah, great. I'll go over our retail real quick and then we can start doing our Q&A because it's kind of fun. So within our family, we have a retail collection that I die over. Most reason I die over this is because by bringing in the retail collection, the funniest thing is we actually sold more of the retail than we did the crown systems to start. Because the retail is absolutely incredible. The retail is going to have 3 of the same 5 smart molecules that you see within your system itself, being acai, keratin, and wheat germ. All right. This is going to be your best friend. The one thing I'll tell you guys is the retail does live at a slightly higher price point. So for us behind the chair, the retail for say shampoo and the conditioner is between $70 or $65 and $72 for the shampoo and conditioner. Now, big point of difference I'm going to tell you guys right off with that, they're bigger bottles. All right. So when I talk to my client about this and I'm like, okay, so the conditioner, the investment for the conditioner is $72. She said, oh. And I'm like, okay, I get that. That's like a little bit of a sticker shock, but think of it this way. An 8-ounce bottle is $45, where a 16.9-ounce bottle is $72. So it's a bigger bottle. It's more bang for your buck. Plus it has a pump. And the minute I bring a pump into the world, people love it. They instantly want to buy it. A pump makes a huge difference in the world. We have 2 different collections. We've got Find the Volume and we have Dull No More. Now, the one thing I like about the Find the Volume collection is Find the Volume is exactly that. It is designed to maintain the volume of your client's hair, as well as still giving her all the smoothing properties, all the flyaway properties, all the thermal protection, everything she needs without weighing her hair down. Now, this will not thicken the hair. That's one thing I do want to talk to you guys about. This is not a thickener. This is not an artificial thickener. This is a smoother. So the client is used to, say, we'll talk about something like, you know, char from Surface, which was going into the hair and actually fattening the hair strands up. This does not fatten the hair strands up. This smooths the cuticle down, but it still maintains all the body and volume to the hair. So there's no artificial thickeners in it. What it does have, again, is our keratin, our acai, and our wheat germ. All right. This is incredible on fine to medium hair. If she's got thicker hair, that's when you're gonna go for Dull No More. You've got your shampoo and conditioner from Dull No More, all right? They come in these beautiful bottles. I love the packaging. I love the packaging, and I'm actually a sucker for packaging because for me, packaging behind is important to me because I know when somebody goes to my house, they're gonna snoop through my bathroom because I do it to people. When I go to somebody's house, I look in their medicine cabinet and I look in their shower and I see what bottles they have and I judge them. It is a terrible little trick that I do, all right? We also then have our mask. We've got the Dull No More mask and the Find the Volume mask. Have that facing the right way. These masks come again in 16.9 ounces. Okay, these masks for us behind the chair retail for $100. We sold 12 in a week. We cannot keep this on the shelf. When we introduced our clients to this mask, they completely blew up over it. They've completely loved it. And again, when I talk to my clients though, marrying your system with your service is because at the end of the day, luxury hair needs luxury attention. If I want to guarantee the longevity of my system, I am going to make sure that they're leaving with the retail that is appropriate for it. It's like buying a brand new Audi and putting regular gasoline in it. All right? A brand new beautiful Audi needs premium gas. If I just put the most luxury system in your hair whatsoever, you are going to leave with the shampoo and conditioner that coincides with it to make sure the longevity of the system is going to have its maximum benefits. Does that kind of make sense to you guys? Luxury hair gets luxury attention. Luxury hair gets luxury attention. And let me tell you, as an extensionist, this is the system that I'm selling with all my extensions right now. Okay, I am blowing up with this with my extension system because I find on second hair, with having the SIE, the regerm, and the keratin, it is bringing the life back to second hair. I absolutely adore the system on there. Then the only other product that we have in our system is our Hero Serum. Our Hero Serum is our luxury serum. Now, the benefits of the Hero Serum, again, is because it has the same 3 smart molecules in the serum as our system itself. But the Hero Serum is going to reverse the visible effects of damage. This is going to help seal split ends. This is going to help, how do I say this? I'm so sorry, my brain kind of went blank there. It is going to help reduce the visible signs of damage. So the hair is going to look healthier. Not only is the Hero Serum going to reverse visible signs of damage, it is going to help your hair dry frizz-free, and it is going to help your hair air dry up to 50% faster. You need 2 to 3 drops of this serum, and I am not kidding when I'm telling you 2 to 3 drops. That is all you need for a full head. So I'll take 2 to 3 drops, put it in my hands, and then I'll work it in the hair going from my ends up, and then I'll give it a really good brush through. That is all you need. Any more than that, you guys, I swear you are wasting this product. A little goes such a long way with this. They do recommend using it only in damp hair. I put it in dry hair all the time. So again, for my extension girls, I set it home with them in their purse, and I tell them, put that 2 to 3 drops in your hair as your hair is dry. Your hair is going to see visible differences in it. And the more you use it, the better it gets. I actually have been using it as a beard oil. It's probably the most expensive beard oil I've ever had. I really love it. But my beard is feeling great. It's so great. All the fragrances that are in our shampoo and conditioner and in our mask, I actually can't tell you what the fragrances are. All I can tell you is that they are they are free of artificial perfumes. They are all naturally fragranced. And it is beautiful. It's almost like a soft musk. It is so gorgeous. I keep saying it smells like a sexy man. I love the smell of the shampoo and conditioner. And when you guys smell it, you're gonna die. It smells so beautiful. All right, so let's open it up to a little Q&A, you guys. Unmute yourselves and ask me some questions.
First question. Hi, thank you for the great presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What would you charge for hair, say to the shoulders? Let's highlighted hair, medium hair.
Just reminded me, I forgot to go over pricing. What a terrible person I am. So you know what, the one thing that I love? We actually broke pricing into Canadian.
Oh, nice.
Do you know how happy I am about that? Especially because with a lot of the systems on the market, even with my work with hotheads, everything that we break down during pricing is in American, and I gently weep because I've noticed the price difference between the US and Canada, and it kills me. So within our system itself, we have this broken down into hair length. We also have it broken down to stylist and client cost, okay? This is a starting suggestion. I bump things up a little bit more from here, okay? So anything from 0 to 10 inches, they're saying you'll use about 2 ounces. The stylist cost is going to be $40. The client cost, or sorry, the client investment is going to be $380. I bump that up to $400. $400 is just a nice round number. If her hair is between 10 and 14 inches, you're looking at about 4 ounces of product. And again, we're only mixing in 30 grams at a time. Don't just go ahead and mix, 4 ounces, because what if she doesn't take the full 4 ounces? Work and mix in 30 grams at a time. Your stylist investment is $75. Your client investment is $500. If she's between 14 to 18 inches, your stylist investment is $100. Your client investment is $630. I bump that to $650. If she's between 18 to 22 inches, your stylist investment is $110. Your client investment is $750. And if she's around the 26-inch mark, your stylist investment is $125, and your client investment is $880. All right. Now, say she's got, between 10 to 14 inches of hair, but she's got really, really thick hair. I would jump this down to the next price point. So instead of her investment being $400, her investment would be $500. The more product I'm going to use, the more I'm going to charge for that. All right. My starting point for this is not $380. My starting point is $400. My 14-inch price point is $600 at this point. All right, I charge appropriately for this, and I charge without conviction to this. It's the same thing that I do with extensions. I set myself at the high end of the price point. The reason I set myself at the high end of the price point is because I am using a product that lives at the highest end of the price point. Now, when you guys see the Crown, there is a price difference between the Crown and other smoothing systems on the market. A lot of that has to do with product size. We're bigger bottles, we're stronger bottles. B, one of the most important things about our system is everything is taken at initial concentration. And I'm not kidding you with this. With all of our ingredients are harvested at initial concentration. So when we're harvesting our acai, we're harvesting our acai at first squeeze. We're not harvesting our acai at 100 squeeze. And think of an orange juice. You're mixing yourself a mimosa. You give yourself that nice good squeeze of your orange. What has the highest concentration of flavor? The first squeeze. By the time I've squeezed that orange juice into my champagne 5 or 6 times, I'm getting the least amount of flavor. Everything with us is taken at highest levels of concentration. That is why we are a luxury system. That is why we do sit at the high end of the price point. That being said, when I am talking to my clients behind the chair, I change my verbiage. It is not cost, it is investment. This is something that will change your life when you are starting to talk to your clients about luxury systems, whether it's extensions, whether it's price increase, whether it's working with the smoothing systems, it's always investment. Your investment today is going to be $700. For that investment, you're going to get 6 months worth of this system in your hair, or the system is going to maintain your hair for up to 6 months. But you say the word investment, people think of what they're getting back. When you think of cost, they think of what they're putting out. So when I talk to my clients with the system, I'm like, I can give you luxurious, beautiful, frizz-free, silky, shiny hair for an investment of $700. The system can last in your hair for up to 6 months. How does that sound today? And they're like, fantastic. This is also for an opportunity for your sales consultants or for us salon owners. Take advantage of some of your reward systems and create packages. And with the packages, I'll include the retail for the first round. So the first time you come in, I might include a package of the shampoo and conditioner. I'll incorporate it into the cost. I'll tell them it's a free gift with purchase. It's not free, but I will make sure that they're leaving with the products that they need. But I always do say the word investment. Investment is important. All right. Any other questions? Paula.
So, hi, thanks for that. It was really informative. I've got like 3 pages of notes, but I missed a little bit.
That's okay.
And I just, this is Pistol. I'm watching her suddenly. I just wanted to, like, I have a customer and I'm new to this territory, so she expressed some interest in it. And so I'm just trying to think, should I like promo a kit or a small amount of it to her? Do you think to get her familiar with it, so then she'll, you know, continue to purchase it? What, any ideas on that?
I have a hard time with this. You guys, so for anyone here who's a stylist who's thinking about doing it, I would encourage education, of course, is the first thing. Get them to attend a webinar, we can go from there. The only reason I don't like necessarily putting the product sometimes in the hands of people who have either worked with other systems before, it's I have to make sure that they're gonna break the bad habits that they have from other systems.
Right, right.
This is the biggest thing for me is I want to make sure that I like, because I've got someone who's like, oh, I read the system, I did it all the same, and I, you know, whatever results. But it could be one simple thing that they miss or they mess up on that then changes the results, and then they're like, well, the system didn't work. And it's like, well, no, the system works. You just missed a step. So I would encourage them to take some education, and if the product seems like it's going to follow the foundations that they believe in, and if they want to get their feet wet, sell them the smallest intro possible first, and then get them going from there. Definitely you could give them samples of the retail to try, but I wouldn't necessarily give them samples of the system itself. Which territory are you in? I'm
in the interior BC, Kelowna.
Oh, well then maybe encourage them to bring me out there and I can do a demonstration because that'd be really fun.
Love it.
Because that is the one thing too, I will tell you guys, the Crown is really good about education. We stand behind that. That is one of our biggest foundations, is our educational platform. And, you know, we are willing to travel, we are willing to set up. And I like that too, because if I talk to my, you know, staff or clients, I'm like, let's bring in a model and let's work on a model together. And that has been the biggest transformation for them. And then I can all follow the steps and make sure that they are breaking the bad habits that they have from other systems, or they're not so intimidated from working with the system that they kind of missteps out of fear. You know, does that kind of make sense?
Yes, yes.
We'll try and figure something out for your territory to kind of encourage this, but really do hammer home with the foundations of what our product stands behind and see if that, you know, sounds like it interests them the most, and then we can kind of go from there.
Okay, are you able to speak to competitors? Just because I'm new back into the business, and so when I ask about it across the counter and I say, hey, what kind of a smoothing system are you using? They're gonna throw some names at me. Yes. You might not want to mention them, and I understand, but because I need some.
I'll mention them at the very end of the Q&A.
Okay. Okay.
I got some names. Okay, and Deanna, do you have another question?
I do. First question: when are you coming to Winnipeg?
Hopefully soon. I miss Winnipeg. I've not been out there in so long, and I actually really miss that city.
Well, you should come.
I know. Push for some education out there for me.
You know what, we don't have a ton of smoothing systems in the city. We do have one that we're familiar with. I used to sell it. I was a sales rep. But this one sounds amazing. We really want to try it. We're excited to try it. We did. What was our other question, Joe? Oh, for you said it doesn't shift the base.
No, it was, like I said, you really won't shift the base. The only time we'll see base shiftment is if your flat iron is too high. And I mean, really, if I ran into a situation too, where say it adjusted the base, like I said, I've only seen tonal or disruption with blondes as opposed to anything else. With my other colors, I've not seen it. Okay. Which is really, but I mean, like if I was working with a level 5 and I saw that it kind of adjusted the base a little bit, all I would do is at the end, I would just regloss her down with like something like that. But you really won't see it. That is also the why I would kind of encourage with certain colors, like if you were working with gray coverage with really resistant hair, I would wait 48 hours between my coloring system and doing this. So I would do my color first, wait 48 hours for that color to completely oxidize, process properly, and kind of live in the hair before I did the smoothing system.
Like with any color, including highlights?
Well, but again, like, so educator hat, yes. Stylist hat, I've done it.
Okay.
So, yeah. Because I book out like 4 months or 3 months in advance. I can't see people that regularly. So I'm doing it all at once. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
And you guys, I will tell you this too. It's pretty funny because within one of the markets in Edmonton I was just working with, they've got a really high Filipino Asian market, East Indian market. And these women love this system. Even if they have straight hair, but their hair is a coarse texture, this will transform that hair into a silk texture. So they love it. It is such a broad market. And I love that we have a system for kind of everyone. So then we can hit that really big fine Caucasian market with a really coarse texture, but we can also hit our beautiful Asian market with stronger hair, but just doesn't like the texture of it. All right, and Laura, I believe, oh, sorry.
Sorry,
What?
can I ask one question?
Yeah.
So our issue is a lot of times people don't have, especially nowadays, they don't have that money to invest, but they want that look. So how do you be confident in terms of saying, okay, this is going to be $600? Like, how do you have them instill your trust that it's going to be amazing?
One, I always make sure I've got good marketing with me. I take advantage of the crown marketing. And then what I did is to kind of get the ball rolling within my market, my location, I did ball. And I picked one of my favorite girls. I got a lot of social media content from her. And she was like my good marketing trick from it. That was the biggest thing. Can I tell you guys another tip and trick that makes a huge difference for when it comes to working with the system and really getting this ball rolling? I dress myself up more. I am not kidding. On days where I am doing extension consultations all day, and I know my average extension price tag is between $1,000 to $1,400, or if I'm doing smoothing consultations all day, if I look at my day and I know what my day looks like, I dress up. I wear shoes that make me taller. I'm only 5'6". I make my big boy heels. You know, I make sure my hair is coiffed. I make sure I've got my favorite cologne. I make sure when I walk around and I look in the mirror, I look like I can stand there and command that amount. And I changed my mindset as to how I market to my clients. I don't look at my clients and be like, okay, like, you know, it's $400. When I stand there in front of that mirror, I got my good jacket. You know, I got my good jewelry on. And I'm like, you know what, for your investment today, it is going to be this. The better I can look at myself in the mirror and stand proud and be like, I look like $1 million today, the better my mindset is going to be behind the chair where I can charge with conviction. Wear your outfits where you feel the strongest, where you feel the proudest, where you feel the most beautiful. Have your hair done in the way that you look like a baller. You look like a rock star. And I am not kidding you. Change that mindset where you look in the mirror and you're like, I look like $1 million. You can charge $1 million because you're giving off that energy. If your client cannot afford the investment, she won't do the investment. But if you don't ask, you don't get. That's the biggest thing. If you don't talk about it, if you don't ask them about it, you'll never receive it. And when I talk about my clients, and I talk a little bit, I can talk about it, and they're like, so I've been thinking about doing the smoothing system. Like, I love the smoothing system. It's transformative. It's going to give you the easiest hair that you're going to work with for 6 months. Your investment is going to be $660. And when I say it with a smile. That is the biggest thing, smiling while you say things. If I look at you, it's like, well, your investment's $660. She's going to be like, ooh. But if I look at her and like, your investment's going to be $660. What do you think of that? That's 6 months worth of good hair. For 4 Starbucks coffees a month, you could have the hair you've always wanted. And it's so simple. And how you present yourself and how you say things, this is where it comes in. And if you charge with conviction, if you stand there with conviction, you will get what you want. But stand proud, dress up, dress well. Crystal, you had a question about timing. I'm just gonna go through this. How long will each hair length take? That's gonna depend. So I find that like the lengths don't necessarily make the difference of the timing. What I would always do is book yourself more time as opposed to less time when you're starting off. So for me, when I do my consultation, if I feel the client's hair and her hair is short, but it's like mama thick, I'm booking myself 4 hours. If she's got long hair, but the hair is baby fine, I'm gonna book myself 3 hours. But when you're starting off in this system and you kind of haven't worked with smoothing systems before, or you're not familiar with the steps of this system because we have worked with other things in the market, book yourself extra time because you're still charging a premium for this. So even if you booked yourself 4 hours, but you're banking out at $600, $600 for 4 hours is pretty good. But do give yourself a little bit of extra time when you're getting rocking and rolling, just until you get your timing down pat, and then you can adjust your timing from there, the more you get familiar with it. But I would always book myself 4 hours to kind of start, just to kind of get your feet wet. Now I know with some of my clients, I only need 3 hours, some of my clients I still need 4 hours. So it's gonna kind of depend from there, and it's also gonna depend as if she wants that really straight result, or if she wants a bit of a smoother result. That's gonna depend on my timing as well. Sounds good, you guys? Awesome. One quick thing before I let you go, we do have an exciting, incredible product coming out. It's called Reset. Reset Complete and Reset Please. This is basically our system of a bond rebuilding system. This has Japanese rice extract, which is going to go in. and repair all visible signs of damage and help with bond restructuring. This system is unbelievable. The reason being with the reset complete, step 0, which is when you put in your lightener and you come up with servicing, this will not slow down your lightener. This will not cause your lightener to swell. All right, this will not interfere with any product longevity. This will not interfere with color timing. This will not interfere with anything. And with the reset complete, the second step, it is to die for. It makes the hair look and feel like silk, but it also does better rebonding. So we found when we worked with this bonding system behind the market, because I've worked with Fiberplex, I've worked with Olaplex, we've worked a little bit with K-Teen. I actually kind of liked my results a little bit better with the reset, which was shocking to me because I was a diehard Olaplex person for years. This reset is going to be absolutely unbelievable. And the reset system on extensions was unfreaking real. Like I had a girl came in, she had a brand that she bought online, you know, not the most reputable brand, not the worst brand I've ever seen in the world, but it had been worn for a year. That hair had seen some things. I used the system on it and it brought it back to life, which was incredible considering the fact the quality of hair that she had, which I don't necessarily recommend. So you guys, that is going to be an exciting product you're going to start to see coming through within the next few weeks. So I love that. As always, I am available to be reached to at any point in time. My social media handle is Hair by Jessie Ray. Please reach out to me. Please reach out to me. Please reach out to me. Questions, comments, concerns, anything you guys have, always hit me up. Before and after photos. And you guys, I really do encourage you, if you do want to kind of embrace the system, talk to us about in-salon education. We can work together with models. It's really fun to do. It's really fun to do as an interactive class too. I really love it. It's really neat to see the transformation all together. And I just really look forward to all the love and success you guys are going to have. And I hope you all lots of money. I love money. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Fabulous. Thank you so much. So Paula, real quick, some comparisons today. Bye, Deanna. We'll see you again.
Hi, thanks so much.
Anytime. Some of the comparison products that you're going to see behind the chair right now is going to, of course, be, and again, you guys, I'm off the clock. I'm officially not educating. This is me as a stylist. This is not me as an educator. Some of the systems you're going to see behind the chair are going to be, of course, and Arena, you don't hear any of this. This is me off the clock. I'm not talking about other brands. I'm educating you the differences. Some of the systems you're going to see behind the market, of course, is going to be Brazilian blowout, which of course has the high amounts of chemical interference to it. One of the most common ones you're going to see within our territories of ESP is, of course, going to be McPaul. Now, with McPaul was a product. There's room in the sandbox for everybody. I love everything, but McPaul had a tendency to give you a one bottle system. One bottle for everyone. That does not work in my world. We need to have customization for this. It was pretty much one bottle, one temperature setting for everyone. That did not work for me behind the chair. And with that system is where I started to see high amounts of base bumping. And I'm not talking about color diffusion. I'm talking about legit base bumping. Our system is not that. You will not see that. With McPaul, I saw legit base bumping. With our system, with the blondes, you just see that little bit of tone diffusion. That's it. You do not get the base bumping. So that is the biggest difference when you're talking to them behind the chair. Also, one of the biggest things, the points of difference between these other brands right now and with us is education. Okay. Us actually having educators within our territories, us being really passionate about education, and always being available for education. That is going to be the biggest point of difference, because when I was looking for other systems, I looked at Cezanne. I used to use Brazilian blowout, couldn't do it because, again, burned my throat. And I did try McPaul and I couldn't get any information from it. People would hand me a box and be like, go, have fun. And that doesn't work for me. I need to have education. So we're going to offer education to this. And even with the Surface system, and I love Surface, Surface is great, but Surface's smoothing system is not designed to be worked with blonde hair. So that doesn't work for us. So with the crown, we've offered you a little bit of something for everyone.
Okay, so I was just going to say, if I'm just having a quick over-the-counter conversation about it, the difference is education and customizing it for the type of hair.
If I was talking to my client, if I was doing an elevator pitch to my client, I would go in, like if I was walking to a salon and be like, hey, have you guys heard about the new smoothing system, the crown? And they're gonna be like, you know what? The crown is an absolutely revolutionary product. It was invented by a man with a legacy of hair. He created 2 global brands, being Serena Key and Moroccan Oil. And one of the biggest difference that you're gonna see within the crown is we use 5 smart molecules, being acai, keratin, wheat germ, mustard oil, and bioceramides, as opposed to harsh chemicals. And you can get up to 6 months worth of beautiful hair, all with using natural ingredients and an aquacore technology. That's how I would just market it to my clients, and I would go from there. That would be my quick little elevator pitch. Be like, if you guys are interested in this, let's continue forward. And then I had a couple people be a little resistant. They're like, well, everybody wants curl right now. Everyone wants texture right now. Let me tell you, there's always a market for glass hair. And that's how I market it. I'm like, you know what? There's always somebody who wants that Kim K. You know, and the one thing I will tell you guys too, behind the chair with this system that I love the most, I will curl her hair immediately after I'm done, and her hair will hold a curl. If you go on my social media, you'll actually see a couple of reels that I've done with this. And like, as soon as I'm done the system, their hair is beautiful and silky, but my clients like to wear their hair curled. I'll curl her hair is curled, and her hair will hold the curl for days and days, just like it normally would. This does not limit their styling. This brings the life back to their hair. It brings the youth back to their hair and gives them better manageability during their styling.
And less dread around washing it and things, I'm sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, and
Okay.
less time styling and fighting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Fabulous.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
I'd love to try and get a class out here and see if I can fill one. You know, how many people would you need in a class or prefer?
Kayla's going to have to give you the information about that. I mean, I'm willing to
Yeah.
travel for 2 people and I'm perfectly content. But of course, Kayla will have to give you more the rundown as to what to expect from that. Yeah. Thank you so,
right.
so lovely
Yeah,
to meet you.
thank you.
Tori.
Yes, stay great. Thanks for all your help.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. And if anybody else has any other questions, please feel free to unmute yourselves and ask. I'll quickly check the chat. I think we answered them all. And perfect. I think we got them all. Okay.